back on the program, does a great job covering the Washington Commanders. We're still digesting that dramatic win from a couple of days ago, but you can't enjoy it too long, Lake, because they got another big one on Saturday night in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the blueprint team. This is everything that Washington seems to be on the trajectory to trying to accomplish and duplicate. And I think, just as big as the win was Sunday night against Tampa, I think it's even bigger for Washington to be playing Detroit because you get a chance to literally measure up to the team that you're trying to aspire to be like.
What can you say about Jayden Daniels? I mean, that was his first playoff game on Sunday night, and he does not look like a rookie. We say time and time again, the poise, the composure, the moment's never too big for him, Lake.
No, it's not. And Scott, you and I have been saying this all year. If that kid is the best player on any given Sunday, they're winning the football game. And if he's the second best player on the field, they still have an opportunity to win the game. Well, Sunday night he was the best player on the field, and you can clearly see when you have that kind of franchise caliber quarterback, just what it does for everyone. They're never out of a football game, and they always have an opportunity at the very end to win, and that's what the greats do. And he's starting to etch his name in that category.
All right, I want to kind of dissect Marshawn Lattimore here because I don't know, Lake. He does not look like the Marshawn that we all saw in New Orleans. If the hamstring's bothering him, he's lost a step. But Mike Evans torched him on Sunday. They had to take Lattimore, literally stop covering Mike Evans, bring him to the other side against McMillan. Is he a liability? I mean, what's going on here?
No, I think it's rust. This is a guy that just hasn't played a lot of football since the trade. And I think that you did see some glimpses of some of the things that he does well. But Scott, let's face it, his whole career, even, his 4 Pro Bowls, he's been known as a grabby physical corner. And there were some questionable calls, to be honest with you. I thought the swim move by Mike Evans on him in the end zone, that was not pass interference. But overall, yes, Mike Evans clearly had the better day of the two. And I thought it was smart for Joe Witt and Dan Quinn to move him to the other side of the field because you're right, Mike Evans was having his way with him. But I don't think that that's something that is a bad thing, so to speak. I think it's great that he made it through the game without re-aggravating that hamstring. And they're going to need him, Saturday night in Detroit against Amon St. Brown and Jameson Williams and all those guys. They're going to need him desperately to play well.
How do you appreciate the aggressive play calling of Dan Quinn of, you know what, we're going to play fearless, and these are our chips. We're moving them to the center of their table, and it seems like that's their identity, and they got to do that again against Detroit.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Scott. There were a couple times, Sunday night where I was like, why are you not kicking the field goal? Take the points. Don't leave points off the board. But that's why we're on TV doing this. And he's calling the shots. I mean, listen, if you think about it, had they taken those field goals, this game may not be close because Washington really was doing what they wanted at times in the game. They were leaving a lot of points off the board. But if they can capitalize and carry the way they finished this game into Detroit, I'm not saying they're going to win that football game, but it'll definitely give them an opportunity to be competitive in the game for sure.
What's the key in your eyes to pull off the upset in Detroit? Because that offense of the Lions, led by offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, they can light up a scoreboard.
Literally, Detroit is a juggernaut. And I know they've been besieged by injuries all year, but it's in Detroit. There's a sense of desperation for Detroit to get finally to a Super Bowl. I mean, all the chips are there, which could make it a little tight around the collar for them, honestly, against a young team that has nothing to lose. But for Washington, in order to beat Detroit, they're going to have to shore up a lot of the defensive deficiencies that we've seen. They're going to have to get 3 and outs. They're going to have to create more turnovers. But I think offensively, they'll be able to do some things. They'll be able to score just enough. But the question is, can the defense keep Detroit from scoring enough? So we'll have all week to dissect that, I'm sure.
This is a type of situation where time of possession, being able to run the football, keeping that Detroit offense off the field could be a big layer to this, Lake.
You're right. I think it's critical that Washington try not to get into a shootout in this game. You're going to have to try to run the ball, make these quarters extra fast, and then try to steal one at the end. The good thing is that your kicker, I know it bonked off the goalpost and still made it through. That's the luck of their season in general. But I think the fact that that field goal did go through could give, Gonzalez some confidence because this game has him written all over it.
The pressure's all on Detroit, right? I mean, they're the favorite. They're the Super Bowl contender. Washington, they're not expect. The reality is they weren't expected to be in this situation. They're in a sense playing with nothing to lose on Saturday.
Yeah, they're playing clearly with house money. I mean, not that I'm a gambling person, but if you did gamble on a game, you can put some money down for Washington and it hits, you're going to win some money because no one outside of the DMV is giving this team any kind of chance to go into Detroit and win. But I do think in the back of a lot of people's minds, they know that as long as number 5 is out on the field, they have an opportunity. And if he can work his magic again, I do think this could be a close football game. Right now, if you ask me, I don't know. I'm thinking Detroit's the better football team, but I just know the type of season Washington's had. You can't count them out ever because they'll still win from you.
And if it's a close game, you might have to give the edge to Washington in the fourth quarter because they've been there, done that. They've seen every single situation. Lake Lewis does a great job covering the Commanders. Lake, I always appreciate your time.
All right, good seeing you, my friend.